Introducing the African Diaspora News Channel app, your gateway to stories that's overlooked by the corporate mainstream media.
And we serve as the voice to the Tuval Black community.
Again, we got Dr. Candace Matthews.
A lot of these documents, looking at.
We are committed to informing and educating through the power of media.
This country is supposed to be about the land of the free for all. It has not been free for Black people, and we are tired.
With our platform, we're helping to end injustice by exposing it.
Join us in standing for excellence in journalism and serving our community. Download the African Diaspora News app today.
Dumelang Afsheni Ralocha Rimadekwane Sanwenani. Hello everyone. My name is Naledi Mfoloe and it is my absolute pleasure to welcome you to the latest edition of the African Diaspora News channel, where we unravel the stories that shape our world and our communities. Today we dive deep into the currents of information, from the pulse of politics to the heartbeat of entertainment. We've got it all covered, so please stay tuned for a news experience like no other. Today we dive into an issue that resonates deeply with the African diaspora and actually echoes across the globe. How France and indeed much of Europe often erases the Africanness of its heroes when it suits them. Now, this is a discourse that surfaces predominantly during major sporting events like the Euros or the World Cup, where athletes of African descent tend to swing between being celebrated as French nationals and marginalized African immigrants depending on their performance. Now let's revisit 2018 World Cup, where France's victory was a moment of national joy. Now, central of this joy was the phenomenal performance of Kylian Mbappe, a talent whose parents hail from Cameroon and Algeria. Now, as France basked in the glory of their World Cup win, Mbappe was universally hailed as a French hero, which is a symbol of national pride. Yet this glowing narrative only scratched the surface of a more complex and often problematic reality. Now, the French national team is a mosaic of multicultural talent. However, the Africanness of players like Mbappe is frequently downplayed or sidelined, especially when the narrative demands a unified French identity. Now, this selective recognition actually poses a broader question. Why does France or any European nation choose to highlight or erase the African roots of its heroes based on convenience? Now, it's like we're only good enough for them folks if it benefits or actually glorifies them. Now, the duality in these narratives becomes obvious in terms of failure or controversy. Now, let's consider the unfortunate scenario where a player of African descent, such as Mbappe, misses a crucial penalty. The adoration can quickly turn into anger, which, with headlines actually subtly or not even subtly emphasizing their African heritage or insinuating that they should go back to Africa. Now, this circumstance isn't unique to France, but it's part of a broader European disposition towards immigrants, particularly those from Africa. Now, historically, this reflects a deep-seated uncertainty towards African immigrants in Europe. When they excel, their successes are co-opted into the narrative of national achievement, effectively whitening them in the eyes of the public. However, when they falter, their Africanness becomes a convenient scapegoat, which is a marker that alienates them from their adopted nation. Now, Trevor Noah on The Daily Show encapsulated this hypocrisy with insight when he highlighted how the French player were celebrated as French when they won, but would likely have been labeled immigrants if they lost. Now, this sentiment echoes beyond humor. It emphasizes a systematic issue of racial and national identity manipulation. Let's have a look.
When I read stories from Africa and when I watch what politicians say, especially in France, about African migrants, when they are unemployed, when they may commit a crime, or when they are considered unsavory, it's the African immigrants. When their children go on to provide a World Cup victory for France, we should only refer to them as France. And we even saw it with that African man who climbed the building to rescue the baby. Do you remember that? We watched him climb that building. He rescued the child, and then they gave him French citizenship. They said, "You are now French." So now I'm going, so is he now no longer African? Is that what you're saying? So when he was on the ground, he was African. And then he climbed up, and as soon as he rescued the baby, now he's French.
Now, this recurring pattern raises critical questions about identity, belonging, and the politics of representation. Now, will these successes weave seamlessly into the fabric of their European national identities, or will their missteps take them back to the status of other, highlighting the African descendant in a negative light? Now, in my view, this selective attribution is a reflection of a deeper societal issue. Europeans' difficulty in embracing its multicultural reality actually stems from entrenched reluctance to acknowledge and celebrate the diverse origins of its success stories. Now, this selective celebration perpetuates a problematic division that affects not just the athletes, but a society as a whole. Now, I think that the erasure of Africanness and heroes who emerge from colonial histories is a reflection of the ongoing struggles with identity and representation. What do you think? Let's engage in the comments section. Please, we want to hear from you, and while you're at it, please give this video a thumbs up. That's it from me. Till we meet again, it is goodbye.